Hi everyone, welcome to the webinar. We are very excited to have you with us and make a difference to your marketing. The focus of this webinar is going to be on how to convert your leads into paying customers. Because at the end of the day, no matter how many leads you generate, if you don't convert them into paying customers, you're not going to get full advantage of your marketing. I have come across a number of companies who focus on getting more and more leads and convert very few of them into sales. I used to work with a home loans company, and they came to me saying that they wanted 400 leads per month, and they were willing to spend as much as $40,000 per month on Google to get those 400 leads. We generated about 400 leads for them, and they converted only 10 of them into paying customers. So that was a massive waste. 390 of the leads that came to them did not convert because they did not have a system in place to develop trust with the leads and convert them into paying customers. Now, the marketing landscape has changed a lot. From the time we started our business in 2007 to today, 2017, there's a sea change in how people buy. It's not people these days need to be nurtured and build trust with before they engage with your brand and turn into your customers. So with that, I will go into the webinar and I hope you enjoy. So let's start with 3 ways to convert leads into paying customers. So starting with the fact that most companies I know focus on getting more and more leads, but do not have an effective strategy for converting them into paying customers. I'll do a quick poll to start off the webinar. So the poll is just loading. What percentage of your leads are getting converted into customers? On a thumb rule basis, like would you say it is less than 10% of your leads get converted into customers, or 10 to 20%, or 20 to 40%? So at this stage, I see that most people are unsure. So it looks like you're not tracking your leads going into customers. So that can be quite an issue as well. That if you don't even know like how many leads I got and what percentage of them got converted into paying customers. And one of the things that I have found working with more than 1,000 clients over the last 10 years, that companies that know their stats tend to improve their performance. So here I can see that 10 to 20% of people. So 50% of people are saying that they are converting 10 to 20% of their leads into paying customers. That's that's good. Like, so how do you take that to 20 to 40% bracket? So 79% of marketing leads never convert to sales. Lack of lead nurturing is a common cause of poor performance. So if you're converting, for example, 10% of your leads into customers, there's an opportunity. There are the methods of increasing that 10% number to a 25% or 30% or a 40% number, and that will immediately increase your revenue by 150% or 200%. So to grow your company, you don't always have to get more traffic or get more leads. Sometimes you can just be smarter and convert more leads into paying customers. So I'll talk to you about the now and the later, and I'll take an example of nightclub. I don't know how many of you have gone to nightclubs. Most people do. So, like when you go to a nightclub and you're hanging out over there, and let's say you really like a girl or you really like a guy, and you want to date with them. Like if you walk up to them straight away and say, "Hey, will you go for a date with me?" What are the what is the likelihood of that happening? Like mostly it won't happen because maybe a very few people. Like you go to 100 people, you go to a nightclub and you walk up to 200 people over there and say, "Hey, I want you to take you out for a date." Maybe you get one or two who are willing to go, but most people will not be willing because they're not familiar with you. They don't know you. But if you go to them and say, "Hey, do you want to have a drink together?" and you have a drink together, or you start a conversation, and then gradually go from there, from stage one to stage two, you've got much higher chances of taking that person out for a date. The same thing applies in sales. So if I've got a lead and let's say someone fills up the form on my website and I call them up and I say, "Hey, are you willing to, you've made an inquiry on my website. Obviously, you're interested in my product. If you buy right now from me, I'll I'll give you a discount." So I've seen salespeople who do that actually. So what percentage of their leads are they going to close? Very low, because they've called up the lead. They haven't bothered to find out what matters most to that person. So they're not doing a fact find. They're not engaging that person, and straight away they're asking for the sale. So in sales, asking for the sale is supposed to be a good thing, but you ask for the sale after you warmed up the prospect. So going step by step, getting to know who they are, understanding their needs, specific problems, and presenting your product or service as a solution to the problem gets you a lot more sales than just like picking up the phone and trying to close a sale. So at any point in time, like the inquiries that you get, like let's say 10 people fill up the form on your website, maybe there's one person there who's ready to buy, who knows about your company, who knows about your product, he's done enough research there, and he's ready to buy. So, it'll only get you 1 out of the 10 people if you try to close them straight away. Now, among the remaining 9, the stats are very interesting, and I will talk to you more about that as we go along in the buyer pyramid. So, recency and frequency is a powerful concept in sales that is being used by less than 10% of companies right now in the marketing landscape. So if you can master this concept, just this single concept out of this webinar, it will give you a massive advantage over your competition, because most companies in your industry won't be using it. And really what recency and frequency is, it's about owning the mind space between the inquiry and the decision. So like let's say in your industry, on an average, a person takes 6 weeks from the time they make an inquiry to the time they make a purchase. And you get an inquiry, you send them a proposal, and then just follow up with them after that. Hey, have you made up your mind? Are you going to go ahead? So you call them every week. So that's what most of your competitors are doing. That's what most people in the industry do. The standard thing is you get an inquiry, you make up a proposal, you send them a proposal, and then you start following up with them. And what the person at the other end is doing, because he is not ready, he is giving you an excuse. He will give you an excuse saying, oh, I have not spoken to my business partner just now. I have not spoken to the other decision makers. I am very busy. I am in meetings. I am going for a 2-week holiday. So he's using 10 different methods to delay the process. So let me ask you a question first. How soon do you get in touch with your leads? Is it right away? Is it in 1 to 4 hours? Or there is no defined time? So yeah, so we can see here, like most people here, getting in touch within 1 business day. So if instead of getting in touch with your leads within 1 business day, you get in touch with them right away, if you can have a system where you can, and then we've got like few people who said within a week, like there has been research done on this, and the research has shown that companies that contact their leads within the first 5 minutes of the lead coming have the get an advantage over the other people and have a 47% higher chance of closing the lead. And there's a reason for that, and the reason comes. This reason is based on psychology. And in psychology, there is something called a peak state of mind. That peak state of mind is when the person is geared up to take your call. The person is in the state of mind to talk to you. So when you make an inquiry, and when someone makes an inquiry and you pick up the phone and you call them right away, there and then, like, firstly, it impresses them that this company is highly responsive. If they are so responsive with the inquiry, they will be responsive down the line when I engage them as a service provider. Secondly, what happens is the person has just read your something about you, your website, he's seen a video, he's come to know about you. That's why he's made an inquiry. So at that time, like, it's the most opportune time for you to start a conversation and build up on that and take it to the next level. So I'll go back to owning the mind space between the inquiry and the decision. So this is where you start owning the mind space. You make a very good impression. I have actually, in my sales career, I have closed, there was a few months when I had an about 80% closure rate from inquiry to sale. And during those months, the one thing I had was, as soon as an inquiry used to come to me, I used to contact them, and then I had put a system in place by which I would nurture the leads so that they convert into sales. So I'll be talking to you more about that. So how to do this? How do you own that mind space? Like, one is, of course, you pick up the phone straight away and get in touch with the customer. And the second thing is, when the person on your website, when they fill up the form, they go to a thank you page where you're saying thank you for making an inquiry, we will be in touch with you, or something like that. What you can do is you can have a video of your success stories on the thank you page. Because the fact that the person makes an inquiry does not mean that he is totally convinced that he is ready to buy your product. It only means that he is shown some interest in you. But so taking them from that point of some interest to a higher level of engagement, you can do that on the thank you page itself by showing them videos of different people, different customers, customer success stories, saying that I really loved working with this company. Not only did I get powerful results, but I had a great time working with Sam and things like that. So send them, and then once you've done that and you've spoken to them, talk to the inquiry, you can then start sending them useful information about their industry. For example, case studies. We once got an inquiry from a very large multinational company in manufacturing, and we really wanted to get that, sign that customer. And what we did was we started sending them a series of information about all our success stories in manufacturing. So when I went finally to for a meeting with this customer, it took about 3 weeks before I could actually get the meeting with the CEO, even though he had placed an inquiry. When I went to meet him, he knew everything about Arrow, and he knew about me also, because we sent information about the founders. So that meeting was on a different level altogether. I was not selling to him. I was not selling Arrow to him. I was not selling myself to him. He already knew that I had worked with the kind of companies he would consider impressive, and I had already achieved results for them. So then the conversation was more about, if we took on their project, then how would we do certain things, uh, certain issues, certain concerns. So I was already 80, it was already an 80% sale. Like, and how many times have you seen that a few salespeople, what they do when they get an inquiry, they say, "Okay, I'll come and meet you. Where is your office? I'll come and meet you." And straight away they dash to the customer and they meet the person. Now, you haven't really warmed up the lead by giving them the relevant information about your company, and you just dash to meet them. So more likely than not, that meeting is not going to convert into a sale. Then send them short blog pieces with trends and updates about their industry. So that's quite important, that you keep capturing whichever industries you work in, you keep publishing short 200 to 300 word blogs on your website about your insights, the trends, the updates about that industry. And when an inquiry comes, you will be in a position to provide those blog updates to the prospect. So when the prospect reads that, let's say Arrow is really knowledgeable about the real estate industry or the finance industry or the manufacturing industry, uh, they gravitate towards Arrow, even though they made the lead. Like, now we are convincing them that yes, you sort of reinforcing in their mind that they took the right decision of making an inquiry with Arrow. And if our competitors are not doing that, that immediately places us at an advantage, because we had the case studies and we showed it to them, and in the sales cycle, we did not try to close the sale straight away, but we allowed them to absorb the information and make that decision in their mind, uh, in a slow but sure way. So you've got the sales and buying funnels, and this is really where you can make your company a cutting edge marketing, have cutting edge marketing systems in your company if you really get this concept. So sales, everyone knows that, like, you start getting sales by, like, leads, and then your leads turn into opportunities, and opportunities turn into sales. So when you get a lead, you like the if you start sending them information that is relevant to them, you build confidence in them. And when you get opportunities, like if the person has already said that yes, I am serious about working with your company, and and it's just a matter of time. We just need to take a decision. Our board will be sitting together, to take the decision. So that's a higher level. It's not just a lead, it's an opportunity, because the person is discussing with you and saying, I have a budget of X amount of dollars, and this is my buying criteria. I am giving you a time frame. The person is giving you a time frame of 2 to 3 weeks, let's say. In 2 to 3 weeks, they will take a decision, and this is how they'll go about taking a decision. So you've captured a lot of information about this person. They'll become an opportunity. And once that happens, you can start giving them webinars, offering them webinars, much the same way as I'm doing the webinar right now, and do case studies, send them case studies to further increase their level of confidence. And then to take them finally into the sale, to make it easier for them to buy, you can give them a free trial of your product or service. You free or a paid trial for that matter. If you think your service involves a lot of work from your end, you could give them a paid trial. They could try your service out for a certain period in time and gain confidence in it before they end up signing a contract. You can give them special offers. So, and then finally, it is about how you interact with them when the sales is taking place. I have seen a lot of companies lose the customer at the last end of the buying cycle, because they don't have a professional system there of the agreement, the invoice. Like they send templated agreements, they don't customize the agreement properly. So doing that right. So let me ask you another question. We'll have a quick poll. Like, do you have a defined sales process for your inbound leads? So how many people here don't have a sales process for inbound leads? Okay. So great, that's great. Like we can see that 100% of the people, no, 67% of the people in the room have a clearly defined sales process. And and we see that some people have a clearly defined sales process, and some people have a sales process, but it is somewhat defined. So, and I see that happening in many companies. When we go and train companies, we see that like a lot of them have like a very vaguely defined sales process. Like people just know that when an inquiry comes, we call them, and then after that we try to close them, and then we send them an agreement, and that's a sales process. But that's not a sales process. So 43% of the people in this room say that yes, we have a clearly defined process, and really they are already at an advantage, because let's talk about a clearly defined sales process. What is a clearly defined sales process? It is about knowing that having a system, like for example, if I say that when a lead comes from a web form, this is how the lead will be allocated. And when the lead gets allocated, we will respond to the lead within 5 minutes. That's a process. Then after we've had a conversation with the lead, we will enter the details in our CRM, clearly defining what happened and the next stage, and who else do we need to close the lead. So that's a sales process. Then from there, so now you have it in the CRM, defining the follow-up, defining your lead nurturing process. How are we going to keep the lead warm? How are we going to make them more engaged and more interested in our product in between the time that they made the inquiry and the time the sales takes place. Now, if you don't have that, you don't have a clearly defined. I can see the number has changed there. Like only 38% of companies have a clearly defined sales process, and we at Arrow are, we would like to help you to get a clearly defined sales process. So 25% have said no, we don't have a sales process. So you're investing money in marketing without a sales process. That's something that you can work on. And those who are at the somewhat, like, you just need to make some improvements, and then you will have a clearly defined sales process. So now let's go into the buying pyramid, because once you get this, your sales process will change forever. So the first thing is that only 3% of the people in the room, who are making an inquiry, are ready to buy now. So in general, like I gave that nightclub example, like there's only 3% or less than 3% of the people who will do blind dates, and the remaining 97% want to know the person a little bit before they will engage with that person. So 6 to 7% of the people are open to it. They are open to it. Like, you look good to them. That's why they've made an inquiry. And but having said that, they want to know more about you. So you've got to have a system in place for them to get to know you better, and and engage them through the phone call, through the webinars, through the white papers, case studies, blogs, what different methods. If you can engage them, these people will definitely buy from you. So if we add up that 3% and the 7%, that makes it 10%. Now, if you're not using a method to warm up your leads, then only 3% will buy from you. But if you're using a method to warm up your leads, 10% will buy from you. How interesting is that? So like let's say hypothetically you're a $1 million turnover company, and you start using this concept of warming up your leads. Then from 3% you go to 10%, which means from $1 million you become a $3.5 million company straight away. So if you make a profit of $200,000 on that $1 million, now you'll make a profit of $700,000. So just warming up the leads is going to give you an extra $500,000. What do you plan to do with that money? Now that I've given you extra $500,000 to make over there, what do you plan to do with that money? You could go for a massive holiday. You could reinvest in your company. You could take a bigger office. You could do so many things with that $500,000, and it's there for you just by making sure that you own the mind of the prospect between the time they make an inquiry and the time the sale is made. And that needs a series of drip feed emails, blogs, case studies, videos. And you need to, and obviously you send these things, like some of you might be thinking, how do I do this? How do I send them these blogs and case studies and webinars and drip feed emails? It's all very complicated. It looks complicated, but when you get down to it, it can all be done simply using systems. There are marketing automation systems that will allow you to do this. So let me ask you a question, like, how many of you actually use a CRM? Okay. Okay, so we can see here that like a lot of people are using spreadsheets to track their leads. So the thing with using spreadsheets to track your leads is that a lot of times you don't measure and monitor the process frequently. But if you use them rigorously, that's fine. You can get away with using spreadsheets until such time as the lead volume grows. The advantage of using a CRM is that you can have like call notes in that. So besides what a spreadsheet does for you, you've got your detailed call notes every time a call is taking place. And when you're making a call, a follow-up call to the customer, you can see the series of activities that have taken place before that. So we find that the call logs that people use in the CRMs really help them to increase their conversion rate. And the best part is that you don't need to pay a single dollar to get a CRM. There are a lot of free CRMs out there in the market, and if you need guidance for that, you just need to call our office and we'll provide you that guidance to help you get a CRM. So now we found that like there's that huge opportunity of going from that 3% to 10% conversion rate, and then the people below that, the remaining 90%, you have the bottom 30% who actually are not interested, but they've made an inquiry. And some people don't think they are interested. Like the thing with these people is that they are not educated enough about the value of what they are buying from you. They've made an inquiry and then they don't think they're interested based on either the price or some other reason. Now, these people are the long term, like you've got to convert them over the long term. If you keep giving them, set up a system where they keep getting new knowledge and new information about the product, there will be that threshold when they will get educated and they will start, they will come into that 6 to 7% bracket, and from there you can close them into a buying customer. So I take the example of a company that we have been working with. They are an emerging technology company, and their goal was to like increase the number of registrations. They actually, what they're doing is they're in the babysitting space. They're disrupting it using technology, where if you need to find a babysitter, you can find the babysitter on an in-demand basis. So like let's say your babysitter cancels on you, you can go there and then on Juggle Street website and find a babysitter using the system that they have created. So we looked at their sales funnel and we found that like their conversion rates were not great, and we started working on that. So within the sales funnel, we found that like in the buying pyramid, you can see that like from people who are definitely not interested, who don't know, then you have people who don't know Juggle Street yet. So we introduce ads to them, we give them slideshows of what it is and how it works. Then we go into nurturing. These are people who are ready to buy later. They've just shown interest in Juggle Street not because they need a babysitter right now, but they think that down the line they might need a babysitter. So we show them ads that are great for their needs. We show them testimonial videos so that Juggle Street is always fresh in their mind. So we are owning that mind space from the time they made an inquiry to the time they actually start using Juggle Street. Then what we do is they need the service and they're open to registering. We show them ads with why Juggle Street is better than all others for babysitting services. And then finally, like people register for Juggle Street, but they don't start using the service. We start sending them SMS notifications about a babysitter being available in their postcode, or if they needed a babysitter, there are 5 babysitters available in their postcode, and they get these SMS messages on an ongoing basis. So just sending different emails and SMS messages, we are managing to do the recency and frequency which is required for them to turn into someone who was just interested in Juggle Street to someone who is an active paying user of the company. So here you can see, like, these people, they need the service, they are open to registering. We are going on Facebook and providing ads to them. We have the email addresses, so we are using custom audiences on Facebook to show ads to them. And these ads are like, don't waste your time with unreliable babysitters. Find a trusted, reliable babysitter who lives near you. Or are you a busy mom or dad? Join your neighbors and find a nanny in Sydney using Juggle Street. So we are outlining common problems they have and how Juggle Street will fix this problem. And what we are really trying to do is to stay fresh in their mind. If they know Juggle Street already and they have not yet taken a decision to start buying the services, start using the services, it's all about staying fresh in their mind. And we could have, for example, like what most companies do, we could have called them. We had their phone numbers. So we could have called them, like every week we could have called them, hello, I am Sam from Juggle Street and you have not yet started using our service. What can we do to get you started using it? Now, but that doesn't work anymore. It used to work in 2007, but it doesn't work anymore because 2007 is all about digital. And people don't like to be interrupted on phone and being told that they should be using a babysitter because at that time they could be in a meeting or they could be doing something which is pleasurable or enjoyable, and they don't want to be interrupted from that experience. So if we do it at the time when they are already hanging out somewhere in Facebook or on the email, so we're not really interrupting them that much, but we are sort of making our way in and saying, hey, we are there. So that really, it makes a huge difference. So nurturing parents. So how did we nurture parents? We said we gave them parent testimonial videos to nurture them. And we gave them happy family videos, like families are happy because now they've found a way to get a babysitter, and the babysitter is looking after their kids and they are enjoying themselves. So we showed them ads of videos of babysitters, put faces to the people, and it builds trust and builds a sense of community. So that's huge over here. Marketing automation is a lot about community. It's about your prospect is thinking whether to engage with your company or not. And if you show them happy people in the community of clients, that makes them gravitate towards you. So you're giving them social proof that people like and trust you. And so the prospect who was already interested in you now takes a confident next step and also becomes a part of that community. Then these people don't know Juggle Street yet, and we give them new traffic and lead. So we show them ads of how you can use Juggle Street. So like a lot of people, like they come to the Juggle Street website and they're not really clear about how Juggle Street works, what is this platform, what kind of a babysitter will I get from it, and why should I use Juggle Street instead of any other babysitting service or child care center. So here we tell them that. And we introduce a brand and we open up their minds to it. So need help with after school care, picking your kids up from school or driving them to activities, find an experienced, trusted helper in your local area. Now we use these words strategically. Like we said, trusted helper in your local area. because the mother is going to entrust her children to the babysitter, and she wants to be able to trust them enough. And Juggle Street has to come across as a platform that will give them not just a babysitter, but a trusted babysitter. So this could not have been done if we did not do the ongoing marketing automation. So nurture your leads for the long term, and categorize your leads via their needs, their education level, their position in the buying life cycle and or industry, and based on that, create your campaign. So I'll ask you another question. So how effectively are your salespeople trained to follow up with your leads? Would you say they are highly trained, moderately trained, we can see, not trained enough, or unsure? And that's what I find, like most companies are not happy with the amount of sales they're getting, but they don't invest enough in training their salespeople. And the moment you change that, the moment you start training them in how to handle the leads, how to follow up, your sales will change completely. Because what I find that 90% of salespeople use traditional follow-up techniques. And a traditional follow-up technique is about the salesperson picking up the phone and saying, I sent you a proposal. Where are you at with it? Can I help you in any way? And that used to work way back in 2007. It worked in 2010 to some extent. But in 2017, it's working less and less so. And I really think that if you invest like more time and money in training your salespeople in marketing automation, your sales will go up through the roof. So what you need to do is to train your salespeople to categorize the leads via their needs, their education level, their position, and this is where the CRM helps. If you have a CRM, you can log in that, okay, so this is the prospect, this was the need, this is the hot button, this is the position in the buying cycle. So like it could be a CEO who is buying from you, it could be a marketing manager, it could be a marketing coordinator. So you'll have a different approach in selling to all these different types of people and creating personas. So what we do is, some people call it the avatar or the persona. What it really is you're describing what that person looks like. All these different decision makers who buy from you, like what do they look like? What are their fears? What are their desires? What are their frustrations? Getting to know them really well. What are the things that bring them across the fence? So if you have, like, let's say you take a meeting of your sales team and you sit down and look at, like, of all the different leads that came, the ones that you won, like what took the person across the fence? So those fence sitters, how were you able to, what information did you give them that got them across the fence for your company? Now, if you've done research on that and you created that, okay, for a CEO, we found that if we give him this type of information, he comes across the line. And for a marketing coordinator, we need to give them this kind of information, or we need to, our next step is about getting to the CEO from the marketing coordinator. You map the sales process and given them all the relevant information, then it'll have a dramatic increase on your sales figures. So creating robust personas, knowing clearly who are the buyers, and it helps you to nurture your leads with increasingly customized campaigns. So, there's someone, the marketing coordinator typically, for example, will come to your webinar. And if during the webinar you give the marketing coordinator some really useful information, then they start looking at you as someone who knows their stuff, and they will take you to the CEO. But the CEO may or may not come. If it's a CEO of a large company, he will be time poor and he may not have the time to come to your webinar. So the way to get him across the line may be to send him a video with examples of people who love using your services. And sometimes you can map it to the extent of he is the CEO of this industry. He'll probably like these type of case studies and these type of videos, and you send that type of information to him. So if you can customize your marketing automation, I can say with confidence that you'll have at least a 200 or 300% increase in sales. And what we found is that nurtured leads make 47% larger purchases than non-nurtured leads. This is very interesting. So it is not just about closing the sale. It's also about the average value of the sale. So nurtured leads, like this manufacturing company, where I kept sending the CEO relevant case studies and how they got a very high ROI on their marketing investment with Arrow. And then I went and met him. He decided to invest more than what he was originally thinking of investing. So, and I've had it actually a few different times. I've had this, that I ended up getting more than what I was asking for. So I was asking the CEO, I was saying, I need so many dollars for the year, and that should be enough to do the marketing for your company. And at the end, he said, no, but you mentioned that for that other client, you also did this service. Please do this for me also. So you've really taken him into a peak state of mind through the marketing automation you're doing. So having larger purchases, having more clients, having more profits, that's what you're after, right? At the end of the day in business. And that will happen by following these systems. So your communication should be relevant. Who is your audience? What do they want from you? And when? And how are you improving? So like the biggest mistake people make with lead nurturing or marketing automation is they send the same thing to everyone. So if you make a stack of success stories, and like let's say I send a small business success story to a enterprise client, it won't work. And vice versa, I send an enterprise success story to a small business client, it won't work. So it has to be relevant. So if you think you can start converting more leads into paying customers, let us give you a hand. At Arrow, our mission is to help Australian business owners to get more leads and sales. So we would like to help you along this journey to make those extra $100, $200, or $500,000 that you can by using this method of nurturing your leads and getting more sales from them. And we encourage you to ask for a free consultation with one of our lead conversation specialists. And the thing is, like a lot of people think that, yes, I'm sure a lot of you are thinking that this is useful for us, but it will take a lot of effort. How will we do it? Arrow might charge us a lot of money. there could be all these things in your mind, but actually, when you make the consultation that's free, you will discover it's not so complicated. Just through a few tweaks to your existing sales process, your marketing process, we can bring a massive increase to your sales. So don't hesitate to call up our office on 1300 766 665. I repeat, 1300 666 665. Just call our office or visit arrowinternet.com.au and get in touch with us now. Thank you.